So there was an article. J-Mac and I have gone back and forth on this multiple times about Brock Purdy, how good he is. Is he overrated? Is he underrated? Is he good? Is he very good? That's what we argue about. But I think the really important thing is that, and I know this through sourcing and through people I know, that the Niners are 100% into him. He not only has buy-in, he has owner, GM, coach, roster buy-in. And that's really uncommon in the NFL for quarterbacks. And we were going through this morning as a staff. And I was asking, and I'm talking 100% buy-in. Owner, GM, coach, your top coordinator, there's no arguments, and just sort of a vibe in the locker room. Who has 100% buy-in in the league? And these are the 10 quarterbacks I believe at 100% buy-in. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lawrence, Herbert, Dak, Hurts, C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy. I'm not saying they're the most talented, although most are. And you say, what about Matt Stafford? They tried to rework his deal last year. They're very well aware of his salary, his age, his injuries. They like Matt Stafford. It may be 80-20, but there are some concerns about his age and some injuries. What about Jared Goff? He's got to win a playoff game in Detroit. Remember, he got to a Super Bowl. They moved off him in L.A. He has a certain way he has to play. He needs certain protections to win. So I think they like Goff in the building a lot. Could be 75-25. But he didn't have total buy-in. And Tua, well, they could sign him to an extension right now. They're not. They can say whatever they want about Tua. If they had 100% buy-in, he'd have a new contract. Well, what about Jordan Love? He's had 3 good games. Take a deep breath, Cowboy. 3 good games. Brock Purdy has 100% buy-in. Now, his contract's not up for 3 years, and some of that may be he's on the cheap. But inside the building matters, and I think, you could say, what about Kirk Cousins? He didn't have buy-in. He's got about 50% buy-in. But with Brock Purdy, it's IQ, resilience, toughness, leadership, productivity, and salary. You got to count salary. Right now, you got to count it. He has absolutely, so it doesn't matter if he's overrated or underrated. In that room, in that organization, he's one of 10 guys, in my opinion, complete, utter buy-in from the organization. They love him, no dissenters. It'd be a non-starter to criticize him in the building. Last week, should have taken Arizona. I talked about it in my Blazing Five. They went to beat Pittsburgh, who Kenny Pickett hurt Trubisky and couldn't move the ball. So it is interesting who we choose to be critical of and who we choose to defend and surround ourselves next to. So Arizona's 1-8, looks like the worst team in the league. Kyler Murray comes back, and they go 2-2 against 4 playoff teams as of now. The Rams, the Steelers, the Texans, Atlanta leads their division. Say what you want, 4 playoff teams, 2-2. He's very good. But it's interesting to me, everybody sort of allowed Aaron Rodgers to be prickly and aloof and difficult at times with the front office. And he was defended for years and years and years. And that said, Aaron inherited a good front office, stability, a winning culture, a very good coach who's now winning in Dallas. And still was difficult. Kyler Murray gets drafted by the clown show in Arizona, where the owner has been rated by players the worst. Front office always been a little bit frenetic, not a ton of stability. They hire a coach out of college with a losing record, multiple stories about the dysfunction in the organization, and in a tough division with, McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Pete Carroll, leads them to the playoffs. But then all of a sudden stories leak. He's difficult. He plays too many video games. And it's interesting to me, Aaron Rodgers, prickly, passive-aggressive. Aaron inherited nothing but high-standard football. Front office, roster, O-line down. This young guy inherits a mess, a tire fire, gets into the playoffs, and now he's difficult. No, he's different. There's a difference between difficult and different. If you go look, we did this morning, if you go look to Kyler Murray's first 61 games as a pro, and remember, the first 2 years of this are all rebuild. They're all rebuild numbers. Complete 66% of his throws. By the way, that's higher than Aaron Rodgers' first 61 games in his career. 87 touchdowns, 43 picks. Add on another 26 rushing touchdowns, so 113 total touchdowns, and a passer rating at 92, generally with bad O-lines. So let me ask you, find a quarterback in this league with a bad organization and bad roster and a rebuild that puts up those numbers. They don't exist. Don't exist. So I look at him. You've already paid him. And there's a story this morning that...
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.